Okay, so here is the box pack of the VIOFO T130 3-channel dashcam. So guys, on top of the box, as you can see, here is the VIOFO logo and the T130 model number is written right here, and specifically it's mentioned as 3-channel, and that means it is a triple channel dashcam, which means it covers the front, interior and the rear of the car. There are some specifications given at the bottom, and they say that this is a QHD 1440p plus 1080 and 1080. It has got Sony image sensors, infrared night vision and GPS logger. Again, on the side there are some features given, that is, it has a Bluetooth remote which is optional. It has parking mode, voice notification, rotatable lens, infrared night vision, built-in Wi-Fi, front, interior and rear of the car which is 3-channel, and a Quad HD resolution. On the back of the box there are some detailed features provided which I'm not going to dive into, and on the right side there is a QR code provided for both Apple Store and Google Play Store in case if you want to download the VIOFO app. So let's go ahead and open up the box. So there's a clear VIOFO branding right on top of the box provided, and once you open up the box, now here inside you find a soft thermocol and the dashcam is embedded inside. And if we go ahead and take a look at the camera, I'll just keep the box aside. So guys, this is the VIOFO T130 3-channel dashcam. So at first instance, I feel this is quite a big dashcam compared to all the other dashcams which I have reviewed till now, and the build quality also looks pretty decent. It's made up of plastic and it has got two cameras as said previously, one for the interior cabin recording and another for the front recording. On the front you also find the VIOFO branding, and there are some ventilation holes right here, and again there are some ventilation holes on the bottom of the camera. So this is the interior cam or the cabin cam. So this is rotatable, so as you can see the camera is rotating left and right, so you can align it to whichever angle you prefer. And this is the front cam, again this aligns to the given angle or the preferred angle of the user. So let's jump into the box and see what are the contents inside. So they provided some paperwork and some service details right here. So this is a professional customer service card, and it provides details regarding how you have to go about in getting some service. So let's keep this here, and they have provided again a must read tips for the T130. So if you just skip back, they are providing detailed information regarding what sort of a memory card you should use in order for complete compatibility with the dashcam. So along with those tips, they have provided two electrostatic stickers to attach onto the windshield of the car, and along with that there is a T130 user manual as well. So in case if you are interested in going through this user manual for all the technical details, all the steps concerning the installation of the dashcam, you can go ahead and go through this if you are interested in that. So here is a Type-C to USB-A cable. So this is a 12-volt adapter for the car, and along with that power cable. Along with that there is a wiring crowbar provided in order to install the wiring for the dashcam. Let's keep it back here, and again in a small plastic case they have provided the rear dashcam. So this is a rear dashcam which records at 1080p 30 fps, and on the dashcam there is a V out, that is a video out. So this is where the wire plugs in, and this goes and attaches to the main camera right here. So let's keep the rear camera here. So here is the rear camera connecting cable. So as you can see, both of them have Type-C ports, and I think the length is quite sufficient enough to last the entire length of the car. Along with this guys, they have provided some other accessories. Now let's take a look at this. So there are two extra 3M stickers provided just in case if you spoil the main sticker, or if you want to probably replace the camera position, or if you have changed the car and you want to place the camera in a new car. So they provided two additional stickers, one for the front and another for the rear of the car. So here at the end they have provided a card reader adapter. So this is where you can plug in your micro SD card, and you can plug this card reader adapter into your laptop and transfer the video files from the memory card onto your laptop, PC or your smartphone. So these are the things which are available in the box of the T130. So guys, before we move on further, let's take a look at the main product, the main camera, and what are its various different features. So on top you find the GPS module right below the 3M adaptive sticker. I guess you can see now there is a reset hole right here. Following that there is a micro SD card slot, and here is the front rotatable lens. So this rotates up and down a bit, so you can adjust the angle of the dash camera. Following that, this is the interior rotatable lens, and here is the power on and off button, and also recording start and stop button. The next button is a microphone, for which you can turn on or turn off the audio based on your preference. The next button is for Wi-Fi, from which you can turn on or turn off the hotspot of the dash camera. So the big button with the caution symbol is a video protect button. So on the side here you find the rear camera port. Along with that, on the side here is the power in port, which also serves as a microSD card reader mode when connected to a computer. So here on top of the on and off button is the recording status indicator. Following that is the microphone status indicator, then followed by the Wi-Fi status indicator. Then comes the GPS status indicator, and lastly at the front here is the heat dissipation block, from which the extra heat generated by the camera is going to get dissipated. So you're not supposed to touch this while the camera is in operation. So another interesting thing to note about this camera is that it offers a lot of flexibility in terms of rotating the camera and getting the right angle or the right perspective in your car. So for example, this front dash camera by itself rotates or like changes its position up to a degree of 25 degrees. So if you can see from the side, this goes up and down with a degree range of 25 degrees, and the entire front camera body itself rotates for up to 100 degrees. So if you can see now, I'm rotating the entire camera body and it turns and rotates up to 100 degrees. So coming to the interior dash cam, this by itself turns to a 90-degree orientation. So you can align the camera based on what is your requirement in the car, and the camera body itself rotates by up to 60 degrees. So that's a really cool feature. And also along with that guys, I needed to highlight one more point, and that is, since it has a lot of flexibility in terms of rotating the camera, you can mount this camera in even cars which have flat windshields such as Jeeps or Thars. So if I go ahead and show you an example, considering this user manual of the dashcam to be a flat windshield, and if I attach it to the gum tape, so as you can see there is a proper clearance of about 1 centimeter between the camera lens and the windshield, or in this example what I'm showing you is the user manual. So this means you can mount this camera even on cars which have flat windshields. Taking a look at the rear camera guys, so now this rear camera also does have a lot of flexibility in terms of rotation, because this rotates an entire 360 degrees. If I go ahead and show you that, so I can do a one full rotation of the camera and it turns back and comes back to its same place. So what's the use of this flexibility? Well, what you can do is, after mounting the rear camera onto the rear windshield, you can actually turn the camera towards the cabin and record the inside portion of the cabin from the rear perspective of the car. So this offers a new perspective for someone who wants to record the cabin from behind, and of course as usual you can use it for the rear camera outside view as well. Also along with that, even if your rear windshield is flat, this camera too can attach to the flat windshield and still be able to give you a focus, because it is completely rotatable, and also there is a decent clearance. So if you can see here, there is a decent clearance between the gum tape and the camera lens. So if you have a flat windshield on the back of the car as well, you can go ahead and mount this and it will work perfectly, and you won't have to do any sort of an adjustment in order to mount the rear camera. So also one additional point to note is that this gum tape mounting adapter is actually removable. So this means if you want, you can remove the dash cam at your convenience. So it's as easy as that, just slide it out and you can remove the front dash cam. This is particularly helpful if you want to give the car for service and for any reason you want to remove the dash cam, you can easily do that. And of course mounting it back again is easy. There are alignment holes given right here on the main body of the camera, and there are alignment pins on the gum tape mounting adapter. So just align these pins to the hole and slide down the camera, and there you go. It is now attached firmly and you can get back to using the dashcam just as before. So the first thing which you need to do before installing the dashcam is insert a compatible microSD card into the microSD card slot of the dash camera. So in this case I have a compatible VIOFO microSD card as you are seeing on the screen right now. So only the VIOFO memory cards and SanDisk Extreme Pro memory cards are recommended with this dashcam. So I'm just going to show you a list of the recommended and the not recommended memory cards on the screen right now. So you can use memory cards of capacity 64 GB to 256 GB. So in order to insert the memory card, make sure that the metal strips on top of the memory card, as you're seeing right now, are facing away from the front dash cam where there is a VIOFO logo. So make sure these metal strips are facing away, and just place the memory card into the memory card slot and then gently press inside until you hear a clicking sound. So there you go, the memory card is now safely inserted into the dash cam. So the next thing which you need to do is go ahead and clean the windshield area where you're going to install the dash cam. You can do it using a soft cloth or a tissue, just to make sure that there is no dust, so that it doesn't interfere with the attachment of the 3M sticker. So as soon as you have done that, go ahead and take the electrostatic sticker provided within the box and peel off the top layer of the sticker where there is a number 1 written. You can peel off the number 2 sticker later on. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out the number 1 part. So here you go, the number 1 part has been removed. Then take the electrostatic sticker and attach it to the designated area. Do it very slowly so that there are no air bubbles present when you attach it. You might get a few air bubbles, and that is normal, but there shouldn't be a lot of air bubbles inside the sticker. So there you go, I have attached the electrostatic sticker successfully on the windshield. There are a few air bubbles. Try to remove them out by just pressing around here and there, and only a few air bubbles will be left, and that is okay, and that's not going to interfere with the adaptation. So once that is done, go ahead and remove the number 2 sticker which is stuck on top of the electrostatic sticker. So here you go, the number 2 sticker has been removed. You can just keep it aside. Then following that, take the dash camera, and here as you can see there is a 3M sticker tape on top. So before sticking the dash cam, make sure you align the dash cam properly. The VIOFO logo of the dash camera should be facing forward, because since this is the front facing camera and the interior camera should be facing inwards, sometimes it happens that you might get confused because there are 2 cameras on the same unit. You might get confused which is the front camera and which is the interior one. So make sure the VIOFO logo is facing towards the front of the car. Once that is done, go ahead and remove the 3M sticker covering on top of the camera. Now it might be a little bit difficult to peel it off initially, but you will be able to do it. And as soon as you remove the 3M sticker, now the gum part is exposed. Now go ahead and stick the camera on top of the electrostatic sticker. Make sure that the interior cam is facing towards the cabin and the button part is facing towards the cabin. So let's gently place the camera right in the middle of the electrostatic sticker. Try to keep the camera horizontal as possible, because it might cause a tilt in the video if you inadvertently place the camera slightly tilted. So try to keep the dash camera as horizontal as possible before you go ahead and stick it. Now the dash camera has been successfully sticked onto the electrostatic sticker, and now most of the work is done. All you need to do now is connect the power cable and power up the dash cam. So here's the power cable which has been provided within the box. So at one end you will find a Type-C port, and on the other end you will find a Type-A port. So the Type-C port goes into the dash cam unit and the Type-A port goes into the 12-volt adapter unit. So once the cable is opened up, you need to insert the Type-C port onto the left portion of the dash camera. So there is a power port provided right here. So you just need to go ahead and insert it there. The power cable has now been inserted into the Type-C port. Then following this, go ahead and complete the wiring and pass the wire from the top of the windshield towards the 12-volt socket of the car. So here is the 12-volt power outlet of my car, and here in the box as provided there is a 12-volt adapter with 2 USB ports. So just insert the adapter into the 12-volt port. There you go, it's inserted, and you can see a red LED glowing inside, which indicates that the adapter is working well. Following this, take the other end of the power cable with the Type-A USB port and insert into the 12-volt adapter. So as you can see, the recording LED, mic LED and the GPS LED on top of the dash cam is glowing. So this indicates that the GPS is working and the mic has been turned on and the video recording has already started. So what you need to do now is go ahead and connect the dash cam to the app in order to properly align the video and make sure that you're getting both the front and the interior cam footage. Now for installing the rear dash camera, what I would recommend is, first of all, turn off the dash cam by turning off the car. Make sure it is completely turned off. Then take the rear camera connecting cable. So this is a rear camera connecting cable with Type-C ports at both the ends of the wire. Connect the Type-C port which plugs in into the main front camera. So here as you can see, there is a L-shaped connector of a Type-C port. So this plugs in into the main camera front unit. So the Type-C port for the rear camera is present at the right side of the dash cam, right where it says as rear camera. So just plug in the Type-C port into the camera. So here you go, the wire is plugged in. So before installing the rear camera, select a central place from the rear windshield and then go ahead and take a tissue or a cloth and clean out the area to make sure that there is no dust. So I'm just cleaning it right now. So once the area is cleaned up, so here is the electrostatic sticker. Just go ahead and peel off the first layer of the electrostatic sticker. So once you've peeled off the electrostatic sticker, just place it onto the area where you want to install the dash cam. So there you go, the electrostatic sticker has now been installed, and then follow it up by removing the second layer. Just peel it off from the top. Now all you need to do is take the dash cam and remove the 3M tape covering from top of the camera. So I've just peeled off the 3M tape covering, and as you can see, it is completely peeled off. Now go ahead and attach the camera right in between the grid lines of the defogger. So just press the camera on the electrostatic sticker, press it gently and make sure you hold it for like 5 to 10 seconds so that the camera attaches really well onto the back of the electrostatic sticker. So now I think the camera has been installed properly, and now just turn the camera or align the camera towards the back of the car. So since this camera can be rotated 360 degrees, it provides you a good flexibility in terms of adjusting the video angle. Now since the camera is attached properly, take the power cable and attach it to the power port on the other side of the dash camera. So here is the power cable for the rear dash cam, and I'm going to attach it right now. So this is where the port goes in and plugs in into the camera, and there you go, the attachment is done. So following this, you just have to line up the wire into the beading of the car from the trunk to the front portion where there is a USB 12 volt adapter. So as you've seen in the unboxing, this is a 3-channel dash camera, which means there is a front camera right here and there is an interior camera at the back. Along with this, there is a separate rear camera. So talking about the front camera, guys, this goes up and down to a degree level of 25 degrees. So as you're seeing right now, this can adjust to an angle level of 25 degrees. Along with that, there is an interior dash cam which rotates horizontally at 90 degrees. So as you can see, it can turn 90 degrees horizontally in one direction, and the entire interior cam assembly itself can rotate up and down to a degree of 60 degrees. Now along with this, here is the rear camera, and this rotates 360 degrees, which means you can adjust it to any angle you want, and it can record both the rear of the car and of course also the interior of the car from a rear perspective. Now if you go ahead and rotate the rear camera to the inside, so as you can see here, you're getting a rear cabin view from the rear of the car using the rear camera. So this is one extra option which you're getting using this rear camera from the dash cam. So this 3-channel dash cam is actually versatile in this aspect and offers you a lot of convenience and a lot of flexibility in terms of getting the right shot. So guys, as you can see, here is the app view of the VIOFO cam. On top, on the left here, you find the interior camera recording. On the right is the rear camera recording, and at the bottom with a wide lens, here is the front camera recording. Now you get this display within the app, so you can monitor all 3 cameras together, and in case if you want to take a look at individual cameras, there is a button given down below. So as you can see, here is a switch camera button. So I'll just zoom out just to show you guys how well it works. So here is the live view, and if I click on the switch camera button, so now it has changed to the front cam view. If I click it back again, now it has changed to the interior cam view, and now the rear camera view is being shown. And of course, you can get back to all the 3 cam thumbnail view by clicking on the switch camera button back again. So this is actually really good, and of course you can get all 3 camera views at a single point, so you can monitor what the dash camera is recording at any given particular moment on all 3 different cameras. And of course you can also adjust the various camera angles based on your convenience. Now taking a look at the video sample in daytime condition. Now these are overcast conditions because monsoon has already set over the area where I am living, and that's why the video is a bit dull. But nevertheless, if we want to take a look at the license plate readability of this camera, now as you can see, there's a Hyundai Creta in front and it's about 20 to 30 feet away. And if I just go ahead and zoom in on the license plate at such a high distance, now you can individually make out the letters and the numbers at this far distance, and that's actually really good. Now if I just go ahead and close in on the car a bit more and then try to zoom in on the license plate, now let's take a look. Now this is a very clear and a very legible license plate readability, and this is the best this camera can do at 2K resolution, and this is really impressive for a camera like this. So taking a look at the rest of the footage, I think again, as I told you, the video looks pretty much natural. The brightness and the contrast, the saturation levels are all pretty decent. Now taking a look at the interior cam, now this also has a slight variation in the color levels, but nevertheless the field of view of this interior cam is about 165 degrees and it covers the entire area, the left and the right door part. So that's a very convenient feature, because if someone turns up at the door of the car, you can record their face, their actions while they're standing on the door, especially if it's a policeman or someone else, and of course anyone who is inside the cabin, all their actions are going to be recorded. Taking a look at the rear camera, guys, now this rear camera quality is average at best, and the license plate readability is also only good at a very close range. Now overall this will provide you a good picture in terms of what's happening behind the car, but if you want to take a look at any of the specific details within the video, that might not be a good idea for this particular rear dash cam. Now if we go ahead and take a look at the license plate of the same car back again at a close range, now as you can see, it is slightly blurred but can still make out the individual letters and the numbers. So that's a cool thing, and that's a really good thing for a 1080p 30 fps rear camera, but this works only at a very close range, and the farther the vehicle moves away from the camera, the lesser you will be able to make out any of the license plates using the rear camera. Now taking a look at the night footage of this camera, I think this is really impressive for a night footage, again because the color saturation levels, the brightness and contrast levels look very much natural. None of them are exaggerated or underwhelming, and it looks pretty similar to what we can see with our naked eye. So that's a really good thing. And if I go ahead and take a look at the license plate of the car which is moving ahead of me, now it's pretty close and I'll just zoom in. So here you go, this is a good license plate read at night conditions at a close range. All individual letters and numbers are clearly out there and you can make them out easily. Now if I just go ahead and wait for the car to move away, maybe about 20 to 30 feet away from my car, and then if I go ahead and zoom in, now again this is really good, this is really impressive. At such a high distance at night, all individual letters and numbers can be made out, and that's a really good thing for this camera at night conditions. Now I'm really impressed with the camera quality and the license plate readability of this camera. This is something what is expected from this camera at such a high price range, and it is living up to its name. Now taking a look at the rear camera footage at night, well, as you can see, it has a lot of glare of the headlights of the vehicles which are coming from the back. You cannot see any specific details in proper, but in general the overall footage you can make out what's happening behind the car, what vehicles are coming and going in, and the nearby conditions are pretty much shown well. Well, except for that, there's nothing much else this rear camera can do at night conditions, because it's entirely covered up with glare, and this is the kind of experience you will be having with the rear camera at night conditions. Now the interior cam footage at night turns into infrared automatically if you set it, or you can turn it off as well if you just want a regular color video, but the regular video will turn out darker because inside the cabin at night there won't be much light. So setting it at infrared light, this is the video which you're going to get, and this is how the video footage is going to look like. So there are certain important points which you should know regarding this camera, regarding the settings of the camera from which you can alter the video's resolution and alter the video's exposure level as well. So in order to do that, first you have to stop the recording. So there is a red button at the bottom here, so just click on that. So the recording will get stopped as soon as you press on it, and then head into the settings button. So as soon as you click on the settings button, so here as you can see, it opens a different menu where there are a lot of options present. So in this, guys, on top there is a video resolution option, and currently it is saying as 2K 30 fps plus 1080p plus 1080p. So this means the front camera is recording at 2K resolution at 30 frames per second, and the interior and the rear camera are recording at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So if you click on that, you can change the resolution of it, and here at the bottom you can see you can either change it to a 1080p 30 fps or a 2K 30 fps. So if you want a smaller file size and you want a longer duration of the video, you can select 1080p 30 fps for the front cam, or if you want the best video quality, you can select the 2K 30 fps option. So right now I'll let it be at 2K 30 fps and click on the OK button. So the next option is the loop recording, and if you go ahead and click on that, you get the option of adjusting the video time duration, which means you can adjust the amount of time for which the video is recorded. It might either be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, and you get up to 10 minutes. And you can completely turn off loop recording if you don't want the older files to get deleted. So the next option is the recording audio option. So if you go ahead and enable that, it will enable the camera to record the audio from inside the car and even from the outside. So I'll just disable it. So the next important option is the exposure value for the front cam. So if you go ahead and click on that, you can actually increase or decrease the exposure value of the front cam. So this is actually very useful when driving in dark conditions. You can actually increase the exposure, and when driving in a really bright conditions, you can actually decrease the exposure to give you a best video clarity. Generally it is set at 0, but you can actually increase that. So let me just go ahead and increase it to +2, and I'll show you how the change happens. So if I head back onto the thumbnail display, so as you can see now, the front camera brightness is much higher compared to the interior cam and the rear cam, and the rear cam brightness is looking a bit dull. So let me just go ahead and increase the brightness of the rear cam. So I'll just stop the recording and head into the settings. And here is the exposure value for the rear camera. If I go ahead and click on that, and I'll take it to +2, then click on OK, and I'll head back. So now as you can see, the rear camera brightness also has increased as soon as I increase the exposure value, and you can do this for the interior cam as well based on your preference. So let's head into the settings again and set the exposure back to 0. So I just head into the settings and dive into the exposure value for the front, and I'll take it down to 0. And again for the rear, close down, select 0 and click on OK. So you can do this for all 3 cameras, front, interior and rear, and that's a really cool thing. So next option is the WDR. So this means it offers you a wide dynamic range. So I'll just enable that. So it just means it offers a higher ratio of color management, and you can get higher accuracy in the color reproduction the video produces. So following this, there is a G sensor which is set to currently medium sensitivity. If I just go ahead and click on that, there is an option of low sensitivity, medium and a high sensitivity, which means whenever an emergency video needs to be recorded, you can select the sensitivity of the sensor. So if you want the video to be recorded for even the slightest of the vibrations, you can set it to high, and if you want the video to be recorded only at a higher level of vibrations, you can set it to low. So there is a date stamp option which you can enable or disable, which means the video recorded will have a date stamp carrying on top of it. Then following this, there is an important option called the bitrate, and currently it is set at normal. If we go ahead and select on the bitrate, it gives you an option of selecting a low bitrate, a normal, high and a maximum. So bitrate basically means the amount of data the video is carrying. Higher or the maximum bitrate means higher the quality of the video picture. Lower the bitrate means lower the video clarity and the video quality. So basically when you set the high or the maximum bitrate option, the camera captures the entire amount of data in the video, and the video file is saved with a large amount of file size. Also along with that, because of the higher data, it provides you a higher video clarity. If you select a lower bitrate, the video captures the only minimum required amount of data in order to create that video file, and the video quality is comparatively reduced when you either select a normal bitrate. So next option is the time-lapse recording, and of course there is a lot of option in selecting the time-lapse. It can either be 1 frame per second and goes up to 10 frames per second. So you can select the variation or the frames per second for the time-lapse recording based on your requirement. So following this, there are system settings, that is the time zone. You can select the exact time zone so that it displays the accurate time in the video. There is a time synchronization option also, which makes the dashcam synchronized to your smartphone. That's also a really good option. Following this, there is a date format. Many different countries have many different date formats. So currently in India it is DD/MMYY. So I have selected DD/MMYY and clicked on OK. So the next option is the boot delay, and if you go ahead and click on that, currently it is set at off. It can extend up to 5 to 10 seconds, which means you can select the amount of time duration which passes after you turn on the camera in order for the camera to boot up. There is an infrared LED, and this means at night while recording in the interior cabin, the camera can switch to infrared light to give you a more brighter video than the regular normal video, which might turn out very dark at night conditions of the interior dashcam. So you can select it to off, you can select it to on, or you can select it to automatic. The camera automatically detects the amount of light within the cabin, and if required, it switches on to the infrared mode while recording the video in auto condition. So that's about the infrared LED. You can also select the LED status while in normal condition and in parking recording, and currently all are set at on. You can change that later on. Now the next option is the parking mode. If you go ahead and select on that, now here again you get the option of having a low bitrate recording, which means a continuous video is going to be recorded but at a low bitrate. Now I already explained what a low bitrate is.
the camera will tend to take the minimum amount of information required to make a video, so that the file size is smaller and the video quality is also not as good, but still you will get a continuous, decent, manageable video. So that is a low bitrate recording. Otherwise, you can also have a time-lapse recording from 1 fps to 10 fps, and following this you can also have a auto event detection. This means the parking monitoring will turn on only when an event is detected, which means only when a vibration is detected. So all three convenient features are present in the parking monitoring. Following this, the next option is the parking recording timer. So if you go ahead and click on that, so you can select the amount of duration for which the dash camera should be recording after the car is parked, and it starts from a minimum of 30 minutes and extends up to 48 hours, which means 2 days. So the longer you select this, the higher the amount of car battery which is going to get used, and the lower you select, the minimum amount of battery is going to be drained from the car. So that's a parking mode timer. Then parking G sensor sensitivity. Now this is where the auto event detection happens. So if you click on the parking G sensor, you have three different options: low sensitivity, medium and high. Again the same as previous. Now this is specific for the parking mode. Parking motion detection is currently set at high. You can also change it to low, medium or high based on your requirement. So there is a next toggle option from which you can enable or disable GPS within the parking mode. Generally we don't need GPS in the parking mode, but if you want you can enable it. Now here are some of the important options concerning the orientation of the video of all three: front, interior and rear camera. You can rotate the image and you can mirror the image. Now this is important because in right hand driven countries like India, you can actually invert the dash camera and install it in a way that the interior camera faces the right side of the driver, but this brings the difficulty of inverting the image while recording, and that can be corrected via these settings. That is, you can mirror the image and rotate the image, and this comes for all three cameras, that is front, interior and rear. So that's also a very convenient feature. Now there is a notification sounds which can turn on or turn off. So in this there are certain options. You can turn it off completely, you can only keep it for button beep, you can only keep it for startup sound, and you can turn all on. So I'll just keep it for startup sound only and I'll click on OK. So this is also helpful if you don't want to be disturbed by the continuous audio prompts or audio notifications coming up from the dash cam. If you don't want them, you can turn them off, or you can specifically turn them on for a few features, or you can turn them on for everything. There is also a voice notification option which you can enable or disable. Now this is also very helpful for someone who wants to know the exact status of the dash cam via a voice notification. But if you are good enough to know the status just by looking at the dash cam or monitoring its settings, you can turn off the voice notification. So live video source, you can select the all camera, rear, interior, front. Now this is for the app, and you can select all camera and it will show all three different cameras live video on the app. Following this, there is the option to enable or disable the GPS as well, and the option to select the metric, that is the kilometer per hour or the miles per hour. Now India it is kilometer per hour, so let's select kilometer per hour. Now GPS info stamp. Now the video stamp which comes on top of the video, you can actually select what displays there. You can turn it off completely, you can enable the speed and the coordinates. If you just want speed, you can select speed. If you just want the coordinates to come up, you can select just the coordinates. Then you can also enable or disable the camera model stamp on the video. So if you don't want the camera model name to be displayed in the video and you just want speed and GPS, you can have that as well. The frequencies at which the video is recorded, it might either be 50 Hz or 60 Hz. Generally 60 Hz is preferred, you can select that. Then you have the option to format the SD card right within the settings, and also along with that there is a reset camera setting as well. So there is a Wi-Fi name SSID, you can change the Wi-Fi name for the dashcam, you can change the password of the dashcam, and then there is a custom text stamp. So if you want some custom data or custom text to be shown on the dash camera, on the dash camera's video, maybe your YouTube channel's name or your vlog name, you can have that as well. Now this is also a new feature which I have not seen before. The next option is the car license number. So if you want a car license number to be displayed on the stamp on top of the video, you can also get that. Now here is the current storage space, and currently it says free space on card is about 100 GB. Now at the bottom there is an app version which is 3.2.11 and the current firmware version of the dash camera. So these are some of the important settings, guys. I think you should really know this before buying this camera, because since you are investing a huge amount, if you're purchasing this cam, you should definitely know what are the options you're going to get within the app settings. And based on what I have seen now, this offers a lot of options and a lot of customization for the user, and this is definitely something worth checking out.
So here is the box pack of the VIOFO HK4 hardware kit for the VIOFO dash cams. So they have provided a pictorial representation of the hardware kit, and there is a VIOFO branding on the top of the box. There are some details provided on the box. So this is compatible with both 12 volt and 24 volt vehicles. It has a 4 low voltage cutoff options to prevent battery drain. ACC detection automatically switches to parking mode, and permanent dash camera power supply. So on the other side of the box, they have provided detailed product parameters. So it says this works with input level of 12 to 24 volts and the output is USB type C, 5 volts, 2 amps max. The length of the wire is 4 meters. The input interface is ACC yellow, ground is black and battery is red. So these colors signify the color of the wires, and this is compatible with VIOFO USB type C right angle plug dash cameras. So below this they have provided certain details such as this supports parking recording with ACC detection. The HK4 hardware kit provides permanent power to the dashcam for the parking recording function. The ACC detection function will switch the dash camera into parking mode automatically when the vehicle engine is shut off and will resume normal recording when the vehicle engine is turned back on. The low voltage cutoff function will protect the car battery from excessive discharge. So that's a really cool function because it is going to save your battery. And on the back of the box, again they have provided certain detailed specifications. The adjustable low voltage battery protection function will cut the power to your dash camera when it detects the vehicle battery voltage is below the set value. So you can basically set a value below which the hardware kit will automatically cut off the power. This function covers both 12 and 24 volt vehicle systems with the following voltage settings. So they have provided the voltage settings for both 12 volt and 24 volts, and there is a chart right here which you can refer for your convenience. Following this, they have said that the product includes protection from reverse connection as well, and when the vehicle is turned off, the hardware kit will monitor the battery voltage and turn the dash camera off if the battery voltage is lower than the set value for greater than 90 seconds plus or minus 10. This will protect the battery from excess discharge. So at the bottom again there is a note provided: professional installation is recommended. Do not cover the HK4 with car carpet, mount it in open space. So you have to keep it in open space for proper air ventilation. Set the parking recording option in the camera setup before first use. So you need to set the camera parking mode within the in-app settings before using this hardware kit. The HK4 hardware kit requires 2 fuse tabs to function correctly, one connected to the ACC cable and the other to the battery cable. We recommend that you test for correct functioning of the hardware kit and camera before fully securing the cables neatly behind the vehicle trim. So very important instructions actually given on top of the box. I have hardly seen any hardware kits provide this much detail in terms of description and in terms of instructions to the end user. So someone who is doing this for the first time or is not so well versed in using hardware kits, they will definitely find this very useful. So let's open up the box and see what are the contents inside. So here is the first package inside the box. So I'll just open it. So these are the fuse tabs which come in the box, but in your case you will get only one single fuse tab because after purchasing this, VIOFO is going to inquire about the model and the year of the car, and they're going to provide the corresponding fuse tab. But for the sake of this review, they have sent all 4 different fuse types. So let's keep this aside and take a look in the box. So in the other cover, again there are 4 sets of fuse tabs provided, and as I said, this is only for the review. In your case, you will be getting only one single pair of fuse tab. So in my case, I have a low profile mini, which is this particular fuse. So this is a low profile mini fuse, and I'll be using the same fuse for the installation of the hardware kit. So you need to have 2 fuse tabs with a similar profile of the fuse. So in this case, I have a low profile mini in my car, so I'll be using these 2. So I'll keep these 2 wires aside and dive down into the box. So there's one more packet inside the box, and if I go ahead and open it, so this is the main hardware kit wire. So this is a 4 meter length wire. So as you can see, at one end there is a L-shaped type C connector. So this HK4 hardware kit is compatible with those dash cams which use a L-shaped connector, and in between you have a switch box, and on top of the box they have provided all the details as I just showed you on top of the cardboard box previously. So the input is red power and black is for ground and yellow is for ACC. On the bottom of this box there is a switch provided which you need to slide. So it just slides in like this and clicks into place. So you need to slide this, and the corresponding voltage is going to be set, and after the hardware kit detects that particular voltage for more than 90 seconds, it is going to turn off. So in this case, as you can see, the highest provided voltage is 12.4 volts in case of the 12 volt battery, and in 24.8 volts in case of the 24 volt battery. Also in the box you do find a user manual for the hardware kit. Now this is going to be very useful for most people, and Someone who is doing this for the first time can actually go through this entire stuff and get to know in detail the technical specifications, the features, the settings, and the entire process you need to do in order to install the hardware kit. So they've really given a very detailed step-by-step process here, and if you're interested, you can go ahead and check this out as well. So let's open up the wire and show you how the connections are going to be made. So here are the three different colored cables, the red, yellow, and black. So the red is for battery, or VCC some might call it. So this connects to the fuse where it has 24-hour battery supply. So the yellow is for ACC, which means this will have a supply of battery only when the car turns on, and the black is for grounding, and it has got a terminal which you can attach to a screw or a nut in order to give a proper connection. So let's start off with attaching this wire. So as you can see, we just took out the fuse tabs, and one of these fuse tabs you have to use it for ACC and another one for the VCC connection. So let's start with the VCC or the battery connection. So what you need to do is to have this blue colored cover here on one end of the wire. So just insert the exposed wire terminal of the power cable of the red colored cable and push it inside the blue terminal. So there you go, it's now pushed in inside properly and it is snugly fit in there. So the next thing which you need to do is take a plier and then press the one end of the blue terminal so that the wire gets attached firmly. So I'll just go ahead and press it now. So the blue terminal gets squeezed out, as you can see, and it completely presses inside. So this makes sure that the wire is attached inside firmly and it won't come out now. So this is how you have to attach the terminals. So let's repeat the same for the ACC wire, and here is another fuse tab. So just insert the exposed end of the wire into the blue terminal. Make sure it has gone in completely. Hold the wire in position. Take the plier and press the one end of the blue terminal and squeeze it down. So there you go, the squeezing part is done, and now the blue terminal is squeezed inside. This makes sure that the wire gets adhered inside and won't come out easily. So both the terminals are now attached and they're sealed off pretty well. So after attaching both these wires into their respective fuse tabs, there is one extra thing which you can do, and that is attach some insulation tape. So this makes sure that the attachment is complete and there is complete insulation at the point of the new junction. So just take the end of the wire where you just pressed in onto the blue terminal and roll on some insulation tape right on top of it. So here you go, one terminal is completed. We'll take some more insulation tape, take a small piece, cut it off, and then take the end of the wire where you have joined into the blue terminal, place the insulation on top of it and just turn it around and completely seal off the area. And now the process is complete and both the wires are now completely and properly sealed off and attached to the fuse tabs. The third wire, or the black ground wire, now this is going to attach to a screw or a nut inside the car for grounding purposes, and this won't need any insulation tape as of now. So now since this process is complete, let's head down into the car and attach the hardware kit into the fuse box and start up the parking monitoring. Also, another important point before you watch the installation video is that I have made a detailed video regarding hardwiring previously, and in that I have covered in detail how you can recognize the ACC fuse, the VCC or the power fuse, and the grounding point. So if you have any difficulty in finding the right fuse, the accessory fuse or the battery fuse or the grounding point of your car, you can check back on my previous video and you'll find all the detailed information in that video. Just for your convenience, I'll leave the link for the video on top of this and also in the description of this video. So just click down on the description, you'll find the link there, click on it and watch the video to understand in detail regarding hardwiring. So let's continue with the installation. So before you actually install the hardware kit, connect the dashcam with your regular USB power cable and connect it to the 12-volt socket of the car. Then follow it up by turning on the engine of the car. So once that is done, make sure the camera turns on properly and is recording the video properly. Following this, open the VIOFO Dashcam app on your smartphone and connect via the dashcam's hotspot, and then make sure that the dash camera is connected to the VIOFO app. Following that, turn off the recording by clicking on the red button at the bottom of the app. Then head into the settings of the app and head to the parking mode. Now click on the parking mode, and here you can find the time-lapse option and the auto event detection option. Click on the auto event detection and following it, click on the OK button on the right top corner. So now the parking mode is enabled in the auto event detection mode. Then following this, turn off the engine. Now all you need to do is head into the fuse box of the car and recognize the particular fuse. So in this case, this is the fuse number 5, which is a small light for the Honda WRV. Now take a fuse remover or a fuse clip and gently pull out the fuse. So here is the fuse number 5 for small light, and this is a VCC or a battery fuse. Then identify the next fuse, which is the ACC fuse. In this case it is fuse number 39, which powers the accessory power socket in a Honda WRV. So I have removed the fuse right here and then I have kept it at a separate place. Following this, take the particular fuse tab. So in this case this is the battery fuse. Now insert the original fuse into the fuse holder of the fuse tab. Push it gently so that it adheres to the fuse tab properly. Then following that, insert the fuse tab into the respective fuse slot. Now take the accessory wire fuse tab and insert the original fuse into the extra fuse holder. Now insert it into the slot from which you removed the original fuse. So that's it, most of the work is done. Now following this, find the nut which is bolted onto the body of the car, unscrew it and push in the ground wire lead, and then tighten back the screw so that the ground wire lead is fixed firmly onto the bolt of the car. Following this, take the voltage switch and preferably set it at 12 volts so that if somebody uses some other accessories, the battery wouldn't still drain out. Following this, turn on the engine of the car to check if the dashcam is working properly. The dashcam should turn on and start recording in a normal mode, and if it is doing so, then head back and turn off the engine of the car, and as soon as you do, you should hear this.
Parking recording started.
So as soon as you hear this audio prompt, this means the hardwiring is complete. Following this, go ahead and turn on the engine of the car. So as soon as you turn on, the dash camera should also start recording in a normal way, and this means the hardwiring is now complete and your parking mode is now enabled. Oh, so that was an extensive video covering all the details, all the video details regarding this dash cam. So you guys should tell me, what do you think after watching this video? Is this camera worth investing 26,000 rupees and getting it for yourself, or do you think a cheaper budget camera will do for you? Well, what I think is, if you have a specific requirement of having a 3-channel dash cam in order to cover the front, rear and the interior of the car, and you need to have some flexibility regarding where the camera is directed, and you want the video in a particular direction, well, I think this VIOFO T130 might be the right choice for you. And of course, along with being capable of recording videos from 3 different perspectives, this camera does have a good license plate readability as well. So guys, if you do have any doubts or any more queries, even after you have watched this entire video, you can write that down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you're interested in purchasing this, the link to purchase this dashcam will be given in the description as well. So head down to the description of this video, you'll find all the relevant links, the video links, the review links and the purchase links, everything at one place. So guys, saying this again, this video has taken a lot of work and planning to bring in front of you. So make sure you recognize that hard work and make sure that you subscribe to my channel and like this video before moving on to the next one. So that's it. This was the video for today. I hope you liked it, and until next one, see you.